fun when vehicles are fun. This is a fun vehicle. This is the 2023 Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. And that's a fun combination because you can take your large family out on the trail. And this is very well equipped for the trail. That's because they've taken the TRD Pro formula and just applied it to this vehicle. So what does that mean? Well, the underpinnings of this is the same platform as the new Tundra, as the LX600, as the We Don't Get It Here Land Cruiser. So underneath, you've got a good base to work with. And then when you do the TRD Pro bits, that means Fox 2.5 shocks at the corners, internal bypass dampers. You've got BBS forged wheels wearing Falcon all-terrain tires. You've got the looks. This thing looks tough, even if like the tactical camo on the fender flares is a little goofy. Overall, this thing looks the business. I like the exterior treatment. This paint is not going to be for everybody, but it stands out and it's not boring, so that is fun. All of that stuff is nice and good to have. This has a rear locker, which is an extremely helpful bit of kit when you're out on the trail and you're doing slightly more challenging terrain. You've got skid plate protection, so you've got the fun stuff. They've even added the option to have a dash cam so you can record your adventures. And if I turned it off, but if it's on and it senses action, it records a clip for you, so you don't even have to touch it, which is hilarious. So every now and then you're just driving along, it goes beep, it's because it's recording what you're doing. So that's kind of funny, but it was also kind of annoying because what it deems to be action, I just deem to be like a little like that. It's like, that's not action, buddy. Regardless, it's this, like I said, prep for battle. And part of that also, or a big part of that rather, is the powertrain. Yeah, we don't have a V8 anymore, but what we do have is a twin turbocharged V6 paired with hybrid power. So this isn't hybrid for the sake of crawling along silently. This is hybrid for the sake of more power. We've got over 430 horsepower. We've got, what's the torque number? It's like 573 or something like that, 583, I don't know. It's a lot of torque. I'll put the correct number up so I'm not totally wrong. And then you've got a smooth 10-speed automatic backing all of that up. You've got a real deal transfer case. So we've got 2 high, 4 high, 4 low. So you can turn the traction control off and slide this thing around and spin those rear tires. This feels almost like a Ford Raptor-ish type of giant SUV, and that's really fun. And by that I mean you get a little bit of lean in the corners under braking when you're out on the road, which just adds to the, I appreciate when vehicles do that. When an off-road vehicle actually gets some lean into it, it means that the suspension is going to be up for the task when you get into the dirt, or at least it feels like it should be, and it is the case here. Fox, I love Fox shocks. So here on the dirt, it is primed to do it right and have some fun and really go for it. Now out on the road, it's comfortable. The engine provides good power. I'm let down by the brakes. The brakes on this are, to be honest, shit. This is very under-braked for the heft of this vehicle, for the size of this thing. Don't kill the lizard. It definitely needs more brakes. The initial paddle, it's like, oh boy, and then you gotta like really get on it if you're getting up to speed, and you can get up to speed pretty quickly and easily in this thing. And the handling though is fine. The steering is light, which is good because it feels a bit big out in the world with other vehicles. So having a lighter touch on the steering makes it a little bit more maneuverable, though I guess it could be a little bit twitchy at times too because it is so big, and then you couple that with the suspension movement, but that's really not, you're not really like, the vehicle's not moving as much as you think, it's just the roll move of the suspension. So if you can get that out of your head, then the rest is fun. Power-wise, good. Suspension-wise, good. Tires, great. I like the, BBS, come on, that's good stuff right there. So, and then there's good engine noise, but it's fake. It's being piped into the cabin. So if your brain forgets about that for a minute, that lends more credence to that idea of like, oh, sounds kind of like the V6 Raptor in a way. That adds to the fun, but I can understand why people would also hate that. I'm enjoying it so far in the vehicle. I was enjoying it until I was reading info. I'm like, oh, it's fake, damn it. But then I just removed that from my brain and I'm still enjoying the vehicle. So comfortable, tons of room, all that stuff is great. It looks tough on the outside. Again, solar orange, not for everybody, but it's not black, white, or gray, so that's fun. Here's the downside. It's $80,000 fucking dollars. What? Wow. That is a lot of money for this vehicle. That is a lot of money. Now, granted, I know TRD Pro stuff, not cheap. Sequoia, bigger platform. So yeah, I get how things add up, but $80,000 for this. That's just a wild asking price. Will TRD Pro people pay it? I mean, people are kind of fanatical about the TRD Pro subset of Toyota, so maybe, but it also gives me fear for what's in store for the pricing of the Land Cruiser when that lands. Of course, that's going to be expensive, but that should be smaller than this based on what we've seen, because it'll be Lexus GX based, you know, new GX. So is that going to be a GR branded vehicle? Is that going to start at 100? I mean, who knows where we're going with that? It makes me afraid to see what's in store for that vehicle. So as it sits here, this thing feels great out here. I mean, you can just, you know, you can, I don't want to do it because I'm heading into that. You can, and also the parks enforcement was just up ahead of me, so I don't want to go too crazy because I just saw him. He was very kind to me earlier, so I don't want to piss him off. But as long as his windows aren't down, he didn't, well, hopefully that sounds louder in here than it does out there. I'm liking this more than I thought I would. I thought I would actually hate it, to be totally honest. But because of like the feeling, it feels like a proper off-road vehicle. That's what I'm trying to say here. I like when there's a little bit of lean, as I said, a little bit lean. I like when the vehicle leans over, so you don't forget what you're driving. The tires and wheel setup looks good on this. I just can't get past the price of this thing. $80,000 is wild. I can justify the price when you have something like a Raptor R, which is way more expensive than this, $114,000, because that is akin to a supercar in terms of what it can do on and off road. And then you get, you know, all the power and all that stuff. This, however, is like a nicely built up Sequoia. So $80,000 makes my head explode. It's more expensive than the Capstone, which that's fine. You know, Capstone, that's a ridiculous trim. You know, if you're gonna buy something that luxurious, jump to a Lexus at that point. But whoo, 80 grand is a lot. That's a huge ask. It is a huge ask for something like this. So that's the part that gives me pause. The cop's not there. Hopefully he didn't turn around, because I'm gonna show you, at least you can do this. Oh. Let's try again. There we go. Is traction control on? Come on. There we go. Traction control is on. Stupid truck. Rolling burnout up the hill on the dirt. Yeah, so if that guy did hear that, I'm just going to say it was somebody else, even though he's not going to believe me. And then you can watch me get a ticket on camera. Regardless. So I can't forget about the price, but for the purposes of my enjoyment of the vehicle right now, I'm gonna say, you know, it's really cool, it's really fun, it's neat to have a full-size off-roader like this, but $80,000 is absolutely bananas. If you got the coin and you need something like this, you know, more power to you, get it in a good color. Wow. Right? $80,000, you're probably going, oh my God, that's a lot of money. And you are right. And so lots of cool features, lots of great off-road tech, especially when you have Onyx up on this massive 14-inch screen. It's got a good sound system. It's got a decent sound system. You know, I've been turning it up. It sounds fine. Overall enjoyable. Brakes absolutely suck. I don't know what you would do to rectify that if it's just a pad solution. And then the price is just, it hurts. And I'm sure there's going to be markups too, which is even more ridiculous. So yeah, good power, good off-road tech, brakes, and price. No.